Robert was 68 years old when his morning ritual almost became his last. For 30 years, he started every single day the exact same way: 3 scrambled eggs with toast. He thought he was doing everything right. He was active, took his medications, and believed eggs were the perfect protein source for staying strong in his golden years. But one morning, everything changed. Robert collapsed in his kitchen, clutching his chest. The ambulance rushed him to the emergency room, where doctors discovered his cholesterol levels were dangerously high and his arteries were severely blocked. When they asked about his diet, the truth came out. Those daily eggs, combined with several critical mistakes Robert didn't even know he was making, had been silently damaging his cardiovascular system for decades. Today I'm going to reveal the 10 egg mistakes that seniors make every single day, mistakes that could be putting your health at serious risk. We've ranked these from concerning to potentially life-threatening. And here's what shocked me most during my research. Mistake number 4 has been scientifically proven to more than double your risk of heart disease. Number 7 involves a bacterial threat that hospitalizes thousands of seniors every year. And the mistake at number 1, it's so common that you might be making it right now without even realizing it. But here's the thing, you don't have to give up eggs completely. In fact, when prepared and consumed correctly, eggs can still be part of a healthy diet for seniors. The problem isn't the eggs themselves, it's how we're handling them, cooking them, and incorporating them into our daily routines. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which mistakes to avoid, how to fix them, and most importantly, how to protect yourself and your loved ones from the hidden dangers lurking in something as simple as a breakfast egg. So stick with me until the very end, because I'm going to share a simple checklist that could literally save your life. Let's dive in. Mistake number 10. Washing eggs before storing them. Let's start with mistake number 10, and this one surprises most people. Many seniors wash their eggs immediately after bringing them home from the store, thinking they're being extra cautious about cleanliness. But here's what most people don't know. Eggs have a natural protective coating called the bloom, or cuticle, that seals the porous shell and prevents bacteria from entering. When you wash eggs before storing them, you remove this protective barrier. Once that coating is gone, bacteria like salmonella can penetrate through the tiny pores in the eggshell and contaminate the egg inside. This is especially dangerous for seniors because our immune systems naturally weaken with age, making us more susceptible to foodborne illnesses. In the United States, commercial eggs are already washed and sanitized before they reach the store, which is why they must be refrigerated. If you're buying eggs from a local farm or farmer's market, they might still have the bloom intact, in which case you should definitely not wash them until right before you use them. The fix? Store your eggs unwashed in their original carton in the coldest part of your refrigerator, not in the door where temperature fluctuates. Only rinse them under cool water immediately before cracking if they appear dirty. Mistake number 9. Storing eggs in the refrigerator door. Speaking of storage, mistake number 9 is about where you keep your eggs in the fridge. That convenient egg holder built into your refrigerator door, it's actually one of the worst places to store eggs. Here's why this matters for seniors. The door is the warmest part of your refrigerator because it's exposed to room temperature air every time you open it. These temperature fluctuations can cause condensation on the eggshell, which increases the risk of bacterial growth and can reduce the egg's shelf life. Additionally, the constant movement and vibration from opening and closing the door can cause tiny cracks in the shells that you might not even see with the naked eye. These microscopic cracks create pathways for bacteria to enter the egg. For optimal safety, keep your eggs in their original carton on a middle or lower shelf toward the back of the refrigerator where the temperature remains most consistent, typically between 33 and 40 degrees Fahrenheit. The carton also provides cushioning and prevents the eggs from absorbing odors from other foods. 8. Eating eggs with runny yolks. Now we're getting into the cooking mistakes, and number 8 is controversial because many people love their eggs sunny side up or soft-boiled with that creamy, runny yolk. But for seniors, undercooked eggs pose a significant health risk. Raw or undercooked eggs can harbor salmonella bacteria, which causes food poisoning. While anyone can get sick from salmonella, seniors over 65 are at much higher risk for severe complications. Your immune system isn't as robust as it once was, and a bout of food poisoning that might cause a few uncomfortable days for a younger person could send a senior to the hospital with severe dehydration, fever, and potentially life-threatening complications. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, salmonella causes about 1.35 million infections in the United States each year, and seniors account for a disproportionate number of hospitalizations and deaths from these infections. The safe approach? Cook eggs until both the white and yolk are firm. The internal temperature should reach 160 degrees Fahrenheit to kill any harmful bacteria. If you're making dishes that contain raw eggs, like homemade mayonnaise or Caesar salad dressing, use pasteurized eggs instead. Mistake number 7. Leaving cooked eggs at room temperature. Mistake number 7 is one that happens more often than you'd think, especially during holiday brunches or family gatherings. Leaving cooked eggs sitting out at room temperature for more than 2 hours creates a perfect breeding ground for bacteria. This is particularly dangerous for seniors who might have a slower metabolism and digestive system. When eggs are left in the danger zone between 40 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit, bacteria can multiply rapidly, doubling in number every 20 minutes. That beautiful egg casserole sitting on the buffet table for 3 hours? It could be harboring millions of bacteria cells by the time you take your second helping. The symptoms of foodborne illness from contaminated eggs typically include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal cramps, and fever. For seniors, these symptoms can quickly lead to dehydration and electrolyte imbalances, which can be especially dangerous if you're taking certain medications for heart disease, diabetes, or high blood pressure. The solution is simple but requires discipline. Refrigerate cooked eggs and egg dishes within 2 hours of cooking, or within 1 hour if the room temperature is above 90 degrees Fahrenheit. If you're serving eggs at a brunch or gathering, use a warming tray or chafing dish to keep hot foods hot, above 140 degrees. Mistake number 6. Ignoring expiration dates. Mistake number 6 might seem obvious, but you'd be surprised how many seniors eat eggs well past their expiration date, thinking they're still fine because they don't smell bad or look different. This is a gamble you absolutely should not take. As we age, our sense of smell often diminishes, which means you might not be able to detect the subtle signs of spoilage that you could when you were younger. An egg that seems perfectly fine to you could actually be contaminated with bacteria that will make you sick. Egg cartons have either a sell-by date or an expiration date printed on them. Generally, eggs remain safe to eat for 3 to 5 weeks after you bring them home, assuming they've been properly refrigerated. However, once that expiration date passes, the risk of bacterial contamination increases significantly. Here's a quick safety test. Place the egg in a bowl of water. Fresh eggs will sink and lay flat on their sides. Eggs that stand on one end at the bottom are still safe to eat but should be used soon. If an egg floats to the surface, throw it away immediately. It's gone bad. For seniors living alone or those who don't use eggs frequently, consider buying smaller cartons to ensure you use them before they expire. Never buy eggs from cartons with cracked shells, and always check the date before purchasing. Mistake number 5. Cooking eggs in too much butter or oil. Now we're entering the top 5, and mistake number 5 is about how you cook your eggs. Many seniors grew up in an era when butter and oil weren't seen as health concerns, and old cooking habits die hard. But cooking eggs in excessive amounts of saturated fat can transform a relatively healthy food into a cardiovascular risk factor. When you cook eggs in butter, especially large amounts of it, you're adding significant saturated fat and cholesterol to your meal. For seniors who already have high cholesterol or heart disease, this combination can be particularly harmful. One large egg contains about 186 milligrams of cholesterol, all of it in the yolk. When you add 2 tablespoons of butter to cook that egg, you're adding another 31 milligrams of cholesterol and 7 grams of saturated fat. The American Heart Association recommends limiting saturated fat to about 13 grams per day for someone eating 2,000 calories. That buttery, scrambled egg breakfast could account for more than half your daily limit before you've even added toast or bacon. Better options? Use a non-stick pan with just a light spray of cooking oil, or try cooking eggs in a small amount of olive oil, which contains heart-healthy monounsaturated fats. You can also poach or boil eggs, which requires no added fat at all. If you love the flavor of butter, use it as a finishing touch in a much smaller quantity rather than cooking the eggs directly in it. Mistake number 4, eating too many eggs per week. Here it is. Mistake number 4, the one that scientific research has directly linked to more than doubling your heart disease risk. For decades, the recommendations about egg consumption have gone back and forth, leaving many seniors confused about how many eggs are actually safe to eat. Recent large-scale studies have provided concerning evidence. Research published in the Journal of the American Medical Association followed over 29,000 adults for an average of 17 years and found that each additional half egg consumed per day was associated with a 6% higher risk of cardiovascular disease and an 8% higher risk of death from any cause. Another study from 2021 examined data from over 500,000 adults and found that consuming more than 1 egg per day was associated with a significantly higher risk of heart disease and stroke, particularly in seniors over 65. The researchers concluded that people who ate 1 or more eggs daily had more than double the risk compared to those who ate eggs less frequently. The problem centers on cholesterol and a compound called TMAO. When you eat eggs, bacteria in your gut convert a nutrient called choline, which is abundant in egg yolks, into trimethylamine oxide, or TMAO. Elevated TMAO levels have been strongly associated with increased risk of heart attack, stroke, and death from cardiovascular causes. For seniors who already have risk factors like high blood pressure, diabetes, or a history of heart disease, consuming multiple eggs daily can be particularly dangerous. The cholesterol in eggs can contribute to plaque buildup in arteries that are already narrowed by age-related changes. So what's the safe number? Most cardiologists now recommend that seniors limit egg consumption to no more than 3 to 4 whole eggs per week. If you want eggs more frequently, consider using egg whites, which contain no cholesterol and are pure protein. 2 egg whites can replace 1 whole egg in most recipes. Mistake number 3, not considering medication interactions. Mistake number 3 is one that almost nobody talks about, but it could be affecting millions of seniors right now. Certain medications commonly prescribed to older adults can interact with compounds in eggs, reducing the medication's effectiveness or increasing side effects. Let's talk about statins first. These cholesterol-lowering medications are among the most prescribed drugs for seniors. If you're taking a statin and regularly consuming eggs high in cholesterol, you're essentially working against your medication. While the dietary cholesterol in eggs doesn't affect blood cholesterol as dramatically as once thought, it still has an impact, especially when combined with other dietary sources. Blood thinners present another concern. Egg yolks contain vitamin K, which plays a role in blood clotting. If you're taking warfarin or Coumadin, sudden changes in your egg consumption can affect how well your medication works. Consistency is key. You should eat roughly the same amount of vitamin K containing foods, including eggs, each week. There's also an interaction many seniors don't know about with certain antibiotics. Eggs are high in calcium, and calcium can interfere with the absorption of antibiotics in the tetracycline family and some fluoroquinolones. If you're taking these medications, you should avoid eggs for at least 2 hours before and after your dose. The solution? Always discuss your diet with your doctor when you're prescribed a new medication. Ask specifically whether eggs or other high cholesterol, high protein foods might interact with your prescriptions. Keep a food diary if you're on blood thinners, so you can maintain consistent vitamin K intake. Mistake number 2, combining eggs with other high-risk foods. We're at mistake number 2, and this is where many seniors unknowingly create a perfect storm of health risks. It's not just about the eggs themselves, it's about what you're eating with them. The classic American breakfast is a disaster for senior cardiovascular health. Eggs, bacon or sausage, buttered toast, and hash browns. This combination delivers a massive hit of saturated fat, cholesterol, sodium, and refined carbohydrates all at once. For a senior with existing heart disease or diabetes, this type of meal can trigger acute cardiovascular events. Let me break down the numbers. 2 eggs with 2 strips of bacon, buttered toast, and a serving of hash browns can contain over 800 milligrams of cholesterol, 30 grams of saturated fat, and 1,500 milligrams of sodium. That's more cholesterol than you should consume in 3 days, more than twice your daily saturated fat limit, and 2/3 of your daily sodium allowance, all in one meal. The sodium is particularly concerning for seniors. High sodium intake raises blood pressure, and seniors are already at increased risk for hypertension. When you combine high cholesterol from eggs with high sodium from processed meats and high saturated fat from butter, you're creating inflammation in your blood vessels that can lead to heart attacks and strokes. Processed meats like bacon and sausage contain compounds called nitrites and nitrates that have been classified as probable carcinogens. Regular consumption has been linked to increased risk of colorectal cancer, which seniors are already more susceptible to. The fix requires rethinking your entire breakfast plate. If you're having eggs, pair them with vegetables like spinach, tomatoes, or peppers. Choose whole grain toast without butter, or better yet, opt for fresh fruit on the side. Replace bacon with a small serving of avocado for healthy fats, or try smoked salmon for omega-3 fatty acids that actually protect your heart. Mistake number 1. Believing eggs alone are enough protein. And now, the number 1 mistake seniors make with eggs, and this one is so widespread that it's affecting the health and longevity of millions of older adults right now. Many seniors believe that because eggs are high in protein, eating them daily provides all the protein they need. This misconception leads to a dietary pattern that lacks variety and misses out on essential nutrients that eggs simply cannot provide. Here's the truth. While eggs are indeed a good source of protein, with about 6 grams per large egg, relying primarily on eggs for your protein needs creates multiple problems. First, it overexposes you to the cholesterol and potential risks we've discussed. Second, and perhaps more importantly, it prevents you from getting the diverse array of nutrients found in other protein sources. Different protein sources provide different amino acid profiles, vitamins, and minerals. Fish provides omega-3 fatty acids that fight inflammation and protect brain health. Legumes offer fiber that eggs completely lack. Nuts and seeds provide vitamin E and healthy fats. Lean poultry offers B vitamins in different proportions than eggs. When you eat eggs as your primary protein source, you miss out on all of these benefits. There's also emerging research about the importance of protein distribution throughout the day for seniors. Muscle loss, called sarcopenia, accelerates after age 60. To maintain muscle mass, seniors need about 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein at each meal, not just breakfast. If you're relying on 2 eggs for breakfast, you're only getting about 12 grams of protein, which isn't enough to optimally stimulate muscle protein synthesis. The bigger picture is this. Seniors need approximately 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily, which is higher than younger adults. For a 150-pound senior, that's roughly 68 to 82 grams of protein per day. If you're trying to get all that from eggs alone, you'd need to eat 11 to 14 eggs daily, which would be catastrophic for your cholesterol levels and heart health. The solution is protein diversity. Include eggs as one protein source in your weekly rotation, but also eat fish twice a week. Have legumes several times, include lean poultry, try Greek yogurt, and incorporate nuts and seeds. This approach gives you complete nutrition while minimizing the risks associated with egg overconsumption. So there you have it, the 10 egg mistakes that could be putting your health at risk, ranked from concerning to potentially life-threatening. Let's quickly recap the most critical ones. Stop eating eggs with runny yolks. The bacterial risk isn't worth it. Limit yourself to 3 to 4 whole eggs per week maximum, especially if you have heart disease risk factors. Never leave cooked eggs at room temperature for more than 2 hours. And most importantly, don't rely on eggs as your sole protein source. Diversity is essential for healthy aging. Remember Robert from the beginning of this video? After his heart attack, his doctors put him on a strict diet plan. He didn't give up eggs completely, but he cut back to 3 eggs per week, always fully cooked and paired with vegetables instead of bacon. He diversified his protein sources and focused on heart-healthy foods. 2 years later, his cholesterol is under control, and he's healthier than he's been in decades. You have the power to make these same changes starting today. Your future self will thank you for the choices you make right now. If you found this information valuable, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more health tips specifically designed for seniors. And here's my question for you. Which of these mistakes were you making? Let me know in the comments below. Stay healthy, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next video.